Alrighty, this time we're trying out Dawn Chorus, because half the time that I pick something else, I upload the video, then I'm like, oh right, I still haven't done Dawn Chorus. It's been the loop for like 3 months, I think. This visual novel features suggestive and sexually explicit content. Do you wish to disable it? Save for work mode? Yes. That'll make my job easier. Default name is Arvo. We're ships at sea, drifting in all directions. The wind blows relentlessly, pulling us apart. One moment I share with you, the next we're almost strangers. Is genuine connection ever really possible? All I know is that I'd give all I have just for a moment of it. We're all lost in this world, walking blindly in the dark, colliding with each other. Our lives are a series of random encounters that shape our course. Are we swimming, or are we just carried along by the current? For a month, I photographed chance encounters throughout Oslo, trying to find an answer to these questions. My paws are trembling. The stage fright is eating me. I'm not used to being in the spotlight. But there are some familiar faces of my friends in the crowd, and it helps me put my mind at ease. There's Miko waving to me, Lake with a wide grin next to him, and these antlers poking behind them seem familiar too. This expedition, I'm falling apart already, alright. This exhibition, Meditations on a Chance, is the fruit of this whole body of work. Words can't describe how happy I am to be able to show it to you here. People clap, but the sound barely reaches me. It takes me a moment to understand that the ringing in my ears is drowning out the applause. I can't contain my happiness and grin without care. This is my triumph, after all. Someone puts a paw on my shoulder and leads me away from the crowd into the back rooms. I'm never seen again. Only now, away from the crowd, the realness of the situation breaks through to me. I won the Nordic Street Photo Award, the most prestigious street photography contest in all of Scandinavia. My photos made their way to an art gallery in Oslo. I lean against the wall, listening to my galloping heart, a sledgehammer knocking in my chest. Then I snap back to reality. I just opened my own exhibition. What does the future hold for me now? I let my thoughts wander far, imagining a career in International Geographic. My photo on the front cover of their magazine. I feel invincible. There's nothing that's out of reach for me. That is something. You can be proud of yourself. That voice. I've heard it before. Rune? What are you... I want to turn towards him, but his heavy paw grabs my shoulder, holding me still, and I don't dare to move. Something rattles under my back, and then again. Turning around, I see that I was leaning against a door. The deer grabs the handle and opens it, disappearing in the shadow inside. I step inside after him, wordlessly. Days passing by and fading into the night. Doors opening and closing. Will I find what I'm looking for behind any of them? But do I even know what I'm looking for? A near total darkness envelops me. A few more steps, my eyes getting used to the low light, and an antlered silhouette emerges from the darkness. Rune? What are you? Suddenly, I feel the deer's wet nose press against mine as he leans in and kisses me gently. And in his kiss, I melt completely, my mind going blank, paws holding on to the buck before me, snout tilting upwards to meet his height. Is this the happiness I'm looking for? But the answer doesn't come, only more light, flooding the room. Like the deer lips pushing against mine, passionate and overwhelming. This looks like a train. We're almost at the destination. Please pack your bags and grab your coats. Be ready to leave. The words reach me through the thick fog, and my mind chews on them dully, scrambling to process them. Dense foliage scrolls before my eyes, dotted with snowflakes, blown around by the wind, swirling around and falling onto the firs and pines, forming white capes behind their branches. Where am I? Refocusing my gaze, I notice my striped snout reflecting in the window pane. Arvo. Hey! You waking up? We're almost here. Good morning? I rub my eyes sleepily. Memories come to me slowly, still mingling with the dream. I try to focus on it, grasping at the slippery threads, but it's getting more and more blurry, like the surface of a lake distorted by rippling waves. What hour is it? My muscles feel all stiff from sleeping in a bus seat. Hey. Not this year, then when? Then I hear the voice right behind me. I remember who it belongs to. I want to play as many games as I can before the season ends. The reindeer games. No, that's not an issue. I can move them to Fridays. I'll talk with my professor. He must be talking on the phone. I turned back to take a glance, but we've never talked. I only know him from university. He's not even on my year. If he caught me staring, it'd be awkward as hell. Now the details of the dream really come back to me vividly, including the image of Rune shrouded in darkness, sending a wave of hot blood to my ears. I glue my eyes to the forest outside, hoping that Mika won't notice. Did you check the photos of the guest house? I hope for a beautiful view from there. I didn't, but I bet all freshmen will get rooms on the ground floor anyway. It was supposed to be away from the town. Maybe it's in the mountains? Then we could still have a view of the town, or maybe even a glimpse of the sea. Oh, that would be nice. Imagine if we arrived in time for the Northern Lights. We're above the Arctic Circle after all. Then I might really have a chance at winning a photography contest. Isn't it a bit early for that? We have 5 days. Maybe we'll get lucky. Besides, look at the weather. For late October, it's crazy. Huh. It's snowing really heavily now. This doesn't look good. I hope we won't be stuck in the guest house all day. I was looking forward to a walk in the woods at least. Although, getting to spend a day together in the guest house doesn't sound bad either. No, not at all. We kind of like in the old days, me and him staying in the school after classes, exploring together. I thought the last word was going to be a slightly different word for a second there. Think they've explored each other's bodies? We have to see if we'll be we'll have to see if we'll actually be given any free time at all. The schedule might be completely packed. Oh, look at him. The bus turns left on the... Oh, it's a bus. I'm wrong. Turns left on the driveway. I guess that makes sense, because that's how there'd be people behind you. Are there people behind you on trains? There's different types of train compartments. I was thinking of, like, individual train, like, where they have the individual rooms with 2 benches facing each other, but I think there's a lot of other versions, and, like, overland trains that are more subway-looking. on the inside. I've never been on a train. That's the takeaway here. I have been on buses, but not much. The bus turns left into a driveway, and just in a few minutes, we're at our destination. I live in a car-dependent country, and it might be one of the most car-dependent states in said country. Like, in California, everything's far away from everything else, and if you don't have a car, all you can do functionally is go to the one grocery store that's in walking distance, and that's the entirety of how you can function. Besides visiting neighbors, if you don't have a car, we've done a great job. We've planned our world for people very well, in that they're irrelevant, and all the metal beasts run the country. Looks like we're here. Okay, everyone. We've arrived. Please take your bags and go straight to the lobby. Coach Devon's already standing in the front of the bus, waiting for everyone to exit the vehicle. Why is Coach going with us? I think he's meant to oversee us together with other faculty members. Do you know him? I have PE with him. He's a strict guy. I hope he'll give us some slack on this trip. He looks really young for a coach. Usually there are these middle-aged guys who seem to have already given up. He's a foreigner. Maybe he couldn't find a better job or something. I don't know. I'm not a fan of physical education. I think I skipped most of the classes so far. Yeah, I don't think he likes me very much, if he even remembers me. You could just skip the classes? I think you get expelled if you do that here. It's like, if it's that failing X amount of attendance will actually get you kicked out. Not just of the class, because the class is required, but just out of school. Miko's already packed, so he just stands up and grabs his coat and backpack. My camera goes into my bag, my jacket onto me, and I'm already ready to go, hopping outside after the wolf. Not that I had any habits of not going to school. I was late a lot, though, because I'm always late a lot to most things, and so I was a frequent detention haver just for being a minute or two late on a regular basis to my first class. Ugh, it's surprisingly cold. Even though I'm wearing a coat, I shiver in the Arctic air. Ahead of us is a guest house, all wooden on the outside, divided into several connected buildings. Situated on the side of a hill, I bet it has stunning views in every direction. Maybe I could even see the ocean from the upper floors. It looks modern, but the simple shape of each building still makes it seem cozy. This is much, much better than what I expected. We head towards it, side by side. Rune's antlers sway above the small crowd of students walking to the building, reminding me once again of my dream. My cheeks got hot under the fur immediately. I think this person might be into Rune. A solitary head turns in our direction, white mane and a pair of lively crimson eyes. Lake. He shoots us a glance and turns around quickly. Is he looking for us? I raise my paw to wave to him, but he's already walking with the rest. Miko brushes against my side accidentally, struggling to walk straight ahead of his huge backpack. I wonder what he has inside. It must weigh a ton. Don't tell me you've taken everything you had in your room with you. Not all of it, just what I might need with me here. Knowing you, it means exactly that. He takes out a phone from his pocket and takes a picture of the guest house. Now that we're at our destination, the excitement finally floods me. Ahead of me is a whole camp full of adventures and this beautiful Nordic scenery. Invigorated, I straighten my back and smile contentedly, marching towards the guest house. I need to use this time the best I can. Arvo, here's your key. Professor, you have no business wearing a shirt that cuts that low with your students, how dare you? Oh, thank you, Professor. Single room, right? Correct. I mumble and take the key with the number 17 written on the tag, briskly returning to Miko. Room number 17. That's a high number. I guess I didn't get a sense of the scale of the place, so I'm like, 17's a high number? I hope it's one of the upper floors. Would be cool. It'd have a nicer view. Maybe with a bit of luck, I'll get a room close to yours. I observed the wolf closely, looking for a shade of disappointment, but I don't see any. He had asked me if I wanted to take a room with him, but I like having a place I can retreat to, just by myself. And, well, I don't know if I'm ready to share a room with him again yet, after all the stuff between us, and after years we haven't seen each other. Okay, maybe they have explored each other's bodies. Although with the size of this guest house, I don't think it really matters. Do you have a roommate? No, I asked for a single room too. I half expected it to be Rune. Well, I'm not exactly surprised. Let's say he's not exactly an extrovert, nor he's particularly good at meeting new people, nor is he? Yeah. Everyone who already got their key, please go to your rooms, unpack, and be in the cafeteria in 30 minutes. It's behind the door at the end of this corridor. I'll go drop off my stuff. Can't wait to get this backpack off me. Y'all were on a bus. Okay, see you in a while. Look at all the color here. This is actually a really nice hallway. I walk down the single loaded corridor alone, counting the rooms. It does oddly give off the vibe of like a early PS2 environment render, like the way that every element of it has to stand out. I don't know. I like older video games a lot because of how they aesthetically had to be readable on much less resolution and so on. So there's a lot of use of color and textures and shapes that stood out, and you missed that sometimes. Yellow paint discourse, what? The actual specifics of the yellow paint discourse are exhausting and boring, but there is something to be said about how video games just were clear once upon a time, and I kind of missed that. I talked about this during Pseudo Regalia, where I'm just like, I like simple looking video games. I think it's cool. I think this is a real life photo that's filtered, obviously. I don't think it's a video game, but it does kind of give off that vibe. It's funny. I walk down the single loaded corridor alone, counting the rooms. I count all the way up to 11 before I reach the end. So it is upstairs. Nice. As I turn around to get back to the staircase, a lion in a flannel shirt holding a coat in his paw bumps into me. Lake. Again. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to walk into you. He takes a step back, smiling timidly. It's okay. I should be more careful. I didn't hear you at all. No, it's my fault. I didn't mean to sneak up on you, but the carpets here are really thick. This whole place is so nice. It's pretty fancy. There's so much wood in here. I chuckle. Although he seems timid at first, this line can be pretty intense. So much nicer than my home. I'm really excited to be here. I can't wait to see my room. I hope it's as fancy as the rest of this place. Yeah, really intense. We've just arrived and he's already bursting with energy. I guess that was the vibe he was supposed to have. Yeah, I like it here. I like it here too. It's really cozy. If the corridors are so nice, imagine how cool the rooms have to be. I'm just trying to find mine. My stuff is pretty heavy, so I want to get all that off me finally. I look over at Lake, who only has a small backpack with him. Lucky. Or unprepared. Or just smart. Oh. Sure. Yeah. That's a good idea. By the way, Which room is yours? I got room number 17. How about you? Be nice to pay him a visit later. I'm sure he already had some fun ideas on how to spend the camp. Number 12. I think it's upstairs as well. Oh. It'd be cool if you visited me sometime. Feel free to knock when you feel like it. I have a feeling I'll end up there sooner or later. See you later, Arvo. Yeah, see you soon, Lake. It's not what they said, but I'm not gonna correct it. It's not worth it. It's fine. Why did I pack so much? Cursing myself in my head, I carry my unreasonably heavy bag in both paws. I need to learn how to pack only the stuff I really need, and do it soon. I used to always over-prepare for everything. I needed to bring, like, entertainment just in case. I'm like, what if I need stuff? Like, what if I get bored? What if I get bored in the 5 minutes before the thing? But, like, I'm someone who keeps bringing, like, a book or something, because I'm like, well, I can't show up late to this thing that I'm going to with my friends, but if I'm making an effort to not show up late, that means I'm going to show up early, and if I show up a half an hour early, then what the fuck am I going to do all day? And I'm like, do I bring a book to read in the car? Because I can't imagine not doing something with every minute of my time. As if I'm any good at spending time. This time it's my turn to bump into someone. Oh, hello. In front of me, walking down the stairs, is a bear. From a downward perspective, he looks outright imposing, and I can't help but feel a little intimidated by his presence. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention to where I was going. I packed a bit too much, and now I have to carry all this upstairs. It's taking me a while. Nothing happened. Here, let me help you. The bear smiles and takes my bag from me, carrying it upstairs with ease, as if it was nothing to him. Maybe there's more muscles than fat under that hoodie. Either way, that's a very fortunate turn of events for me. I was sure those stairs would be the death of me. Y'all, it's one flight of stairs. Okay, where to? Room number 17. Should be right around here. We find my room easily. I unlock the door and swing it open. Okay, here you are. The bear drops my bag at the door and turns to leave. Hey, thanks. No problem. Glad I could help. I need to go fetch the rest of my stuff. See you again later, probably. Picking up the bag, I turn to enter the room, and that's when it hits me. I didn't even introduce myself. Hey, wait, what's your name? The bear's already gone, though. Well, I'll catch him later. There was a bear here. It's gone now. I sigh and enter the room, closing the door behind me. Whoa! This place is cozy as shit. Indoor picnic table cover. It's goofy. There's so much color in these backgrounds. Neat is the first word that pops in my head when I look around. The room isn't big, but doesn't feel cramped either. If anything, I'm amazed at how well they've used the space. The walls here are also wooden, with one tasteful painting hanging above the bed for decoration. The bed, covered in a colorful patchwork, is big enough to fit at least 2 people comfortably. I'm second-guessing myself now, because I said that I think I said the previous scene was obviously a photo with a filter on it, but now I'm like, I don't know. These might be painted backgrounds. They also might be 3D models, which the first vibe actually might have been more accurate than I thought. I don't know how the backgrounds are made. There's also a small wardrobe, a desk, and a chair. They're all minimalistic in style, fitting well with the room. A thick carpet covers the wooden floor. The colors remind me of a meadow, or a sunset sky. An ever-changing tapestry of vibrant colors and cloudy white. Oh, I'm gonna love staying here. It feels like home, while simultaneously being better than any home I've ever had. I pick up my bag and take out my instant camera. It's only for special occasions, but this certainly is one. Walking up to the window, I take a look outside. The guest house is surrounded by a forest, but from here I can see a few lakes and clearings between the trees. In the distance, mountains hide beneath thick layers of fog. Soft white fluff is covering everything in sight. It's starting to snow again. A blanket of gray clouds hangs heavy above the land, casting shadows over everything. I love this kind of weather. There's something mysterious about dark days like today, as if the earth was covering itself in snow and shade to hide its secrets from our eyes. The snowflakes dance in the air before my eyes, blown around by the wind, blind and silent. I must have been subconsciously thinking about Lake since he bumped into me, because for some reason I started imagining how he would look, with snowflakes in his mane. Starting outside and looking at the sky with this big... Standing outside and looking at the sky with his big, dreamy eyes wide open, all while the snow falls down and sets on his snout. This doesn't really fit him, though. He'd probably run around catching falling snowflakes instead. I shake those thoughts off, refocusing from the imagined scene to the view in front of me. I open the window, and the cold wind pushes in, ruffling my fur. It smells of pines and earth. I turn on the camera and lean on the windowsill, creating a bipod with my arms. A quick look into the viewfinder to find the right frame. A bird cuts across the sky just as I click the shutter button. An eagle. I swiftly close the window. The air in the room is much chillier now. My fur is all bristled from the unfriendly wind, but I have my photo. I pull it out from the camera and quickly stow it in the camera bag to shield it from the light. If I'd just left it to the open, it would have been ruined. I hope the eagle was in the frame. I'll have to wait until the photo develops before checking. Eagles are rare, but here, up north, spotting one is even rarer. Birds. Such fascinating creatures. Like mammals, they evolved to stand on two legs, but unlike us, they didn't evolve arms and opposable thumbs. While we molded and transformed the world around us, birds became free spirits, freely roaming the land. I often wonder how it would feel to be a bird instead of an earthbound tiger. I'm a tiger? I think this... Did I go this long before realizing? Earth would surely look different from that perspective. I take my shoes off. Ugh. I should have done it before walking straight across the room and put the lighter ones I took from my bag. I think it's because the thumbnail for the game online is like I think it's a deer or something, which is probably Rune, but I just thought that was the protagonist this whole time. Just from osmosis. I heard striped snout. That was the one thing that came up earlier, I think. Unless I just blew right past a whole line. The next few minutes are spent on emptying my bag and putting everything in its newly assigned places. I'm done just before the 30 minutes have passed. I take the photo out of the bag, careful not to touch the surface. Otherwise I could leave paw prints on it and never be able to get rid of them. The ominous sky fills most of the frame, outstretched above the fuzzy, dark green splotches of the forest beneath, all behind the swirl of snowflakes. But most importantly, the eagle is there, in the corner of the frame, frozen mid-flight. I love it. You never know what you'll end up with when taking an instant photo, or using a film in general, and that's precisely what I love about it. When I know exactly what photo I want to take, I use my digital camera. But when I want to capture not a scene, but a mood or a feeling, something fleeting and delicate, I take out this one. And often what I end up loving the most is those photos. In those photos are the imperfections. Like the overexposed white spaces, where something should be, but isn't. Just a blank space, left for our imagination. Those photos feel alive in a way. And that's what I'm aiming for here. I want a reminder of this place and this moment for the future me. I can sense that there's something significant about this camp. As if something important is bound to happen here. My feline senses tell me that. I grab my camera bag, put the photo in a side pocket, and leave the room. Oh, that's what game we're playing. Day 1. The corridors are all empty. Everyone must have already gotten here. A quick glance at my watch tells me it's 13:31, so I'm only a minute late. That's detention. But lunch isn't the last thing I'd want to be late to. Is the last thing I'd want to be late to. I'm choking today. I open the door and enter the cafeteria. Look at this place. So perfectly laid out. Yeah, I'm not sure, these might be models. It's like just a little too perfect that I'm like, I think these might be 3D models to lay out this thing. But I don't know. Just a vibe-based thing. Like I've noticed I can recognize things, but I don't always know how. Sometimes, like nowadays, I can recognize when somebody has an AI furry avatar from the tiny icon that is like 20 pixels tall or something. Like on a social media app. I'm like, I didn't even expand it. I didn't even expand it to make it bigger, and I can already tell that's an AI picture. How? How can I tell? And specifically, I can tell it is AI and not Chuny or someone, or any of the people that the AI is trained on. I'm like, how the fuck am I recognizing that? Sometimes you just get vibes. I'm like, yeah, I think this is 3D models with like a slight paint filter. Gives that little, it's like it gives it a slight blur, a slight wobbliness to the lines. I think I don't remember the name of this filter, but I think I've used it. Looks like I'm not the last one. Most of the tables are full, but some of the students I saw on the bus are not here yet. The cafeteria is spacious and pretty modern. Much better than what I would expect from a rural guest house. The place keeps on surprising me. Some plants are lined up against the southern wall with windows, and lamps hanging from the ceiling light up at the room. I see 2 tables with people I know. Miko is standing at one of the end of the room, with that bear I met earlier, and an unfamiliar raccoon. And Lake is sitting at the table just next to that one, together with Coach and Rune. Lake notices me first and waves to me enthusiastically. Miko or Lake? No. Awkward social behaviors. Just grab people and drag them together. That's how you solve these problems. Just sit with somebody and wave at somebody else to come over here and just blah blah blah. Just do it. Admittedly, Lake is the person our protagonist keeps actually thinking about. Miko is the person that we have some kind of past relationship with and have had distance from, and now we feel bad about something and are trying to avoid them to some extent. But we also rode the bus here with them, so it's not like bad, but the fact it also might just be the fact that every character has to be introduced, so a lot of it was being handled by the narration afterwards. But our character is very enamored with Lake to the point where they're thinking about, oh, Lake with snow in their hair, and I hesitate for a moment, but I walk up to the table where Lake, Rune, and Coach are sitting, and sit down beside the lion. I feel a slight twinge of guilt, though. I want to make some new friends, but I don't want Miko to feel like I'm pushing him aside. I glance at the second table, and I see he's chatting with the raccoon, the bear listening to their conversation. Maybe I'm worrying over nothing. Hey, Arvo. I didn't see you here. I figured you'd be late and saved you a seat. Unpacked already? Yeah, it took me longer than expected, but I managed to take a photo I even like. So it wasn't a waste of time. How about you? Oh, yeah. I love the room I got. It's so nice. I've got a huge bed for all for myself and maybe the most comfortable carpet I've ever put my paws on. It's really comfortable. The university didn't skimp on us for sure. Right, quite a contrast to our dormitory. Is there a single person that doesn't have a solo room? It's starting to sound like the other, like it wasn't, like it's almost a false option. Me and Lake live in the same dorm, but where mostly the foreigners are admitted. It's not bad, but it's nothing to write home about either. I definitely have a smaller room there than here. I got a room with Jorgen. You know him? I thought it was all to yourself. I guess the bed was all to yourself? Yeah, right, not the room. Never mind. He's studying astrophysics. He's in my group. One of the best there, actually. Sometimes I feel stupid compared to him, like, in our last class we had, he finished everything an hour before me, and that's just the usual for him. He told me that he'll be late. He needs to finish something. I don't know what. I start to tune out and just nod, mentally tired after the ride and unpacking. I'm just really bored of all my friends. I don't want to listen to them talk for 30 consecutive words. Thankfully, I have no problems with falling asleep on a bus, but it's not exactly comfortable. I do like Lake a lot, but his enthusiasm can be exhausting at times. I shift my attention to the pair sitting across the table from us, Coach and Rune. They seem to know each other, which isn't a surprise. They're much more casual with each other than I thought they would be, though. I'm still getting used to it. Hell, I don't know if I ever will. You know, it's really funny hearing you talk about things completely normal to us. I had no idea Americans and Norwegians are that different. Yes, but it only makes me more glad that I'm here instead of back there. Huh? Arvo? What about that photo you mentioned? I open my mouth to reply, but I'm interrupted by the waiter putting plates with our meals on the table. Lake shifts his attention towards the plates, looking at them hungrily with his snout ajar, as if he hadn't seen food in a year. Oh, it's all so nice. Before us are two sizable dishes, one with what looks like a root vegetable stew, and the other with what's some sort of salad. There's also a basket with bread, a plate with sunshine buns, each of them wrapped in paper for convenience. Is this a Beastars universe? Is this nobody eats meat because everybody's animals setting? Are they doing that? I'm wondering. Root vegetable stew. I wonder. Oh, I love those. Soft and fluffy, smelling of cardamom and cinnamon. I almost said cardamom, the Vienna artist. They became a go-to dessert. I'm so sorry. I'm a little tired right now, apparently. They became my go-to dessert after moving to Norway. Lake is first to the salad spoon and starts putting food on his plate. Incredible that someone this awful at cooking can be such a foodie. What? People like food. I remember our first meeting in the kitchen of our dormitory. He was trying to make himself spaghetti, and oh boy, it was a full-scale disaster. He cooked at least thrice the amount of pasta needed, ended up with a literal pot of spaghetti, and the sauce was everywhere. On the stove, on the walls. and on him, too. It's a miracle he didn't set anything on fire. When he finishes, I extend my paw to take the spoon from him, but he shakes his head and started filling my plate with food, too. Full disclosure, I'm doing this first thing in the morning because I forgot to record this week's furry visual novel video, so I'm a little still waking up, and this game is literally all cozy vibes and slow music, so I'm like literally like having to take a deep breath between lines to suppress like going back to yawning, and I'm like, no. Don't bother. How much do you want? I think I can see Coach looking at us out of the corner of my eye. Suddenly I start feeling very self-conscious. Maybe a little more. Thanks. Oh, that smells good. Until now, I didn't really realize how hungry I was. I grab a slice of rye bread and start eating the stew. It has a rich, earthy taste, and the turnips add a crunchy texture. It's flavored masterfully, not bland and not too strong, with hints of thyme and smoked paprika. Oh, that's good. I needed that. Suddenly I hear the door to the cafeteria opening. I turn in their direction and I see a figure clad in dark clothes entering the room. Black cat, I think. It's an interesting interpretation of the color black. With their dyed hair and somewhat elegant clothing, they certainly stand out from the crowd. They look like they're a really big fan of My Hero Academia. I think that's the reference. I only watched the first episode. They look in our direction for a moment, but am I thinking of My Hero Academia or One Punch Man? There might be two different competing green hair characters in my head. I watched all of season 1 of One Punch Man at least, but I don't remember if that character even showed up yet. They look in our direction for a moment, but instead of joining us, sit down at the table next to ours, where Miko's sitting. The mysterious character that fills your chair and steals your friend group. But after him, another person enters the room. Oh my god, look at this bat! Look at this little bat! Oh my god. Alright, a bat, rather short, wearing a poncho and a scarf. A rather unusual look, but somehow it works on them. I don't think I've seen anyone wearing a poncho in Norway yet. People always say that hyenas need piercings, but bats go even better with piercings out of all the furry species. But now that I think about it, they should work very well here in this climate. They look around the cafeteria, searching for something or someone. They finally see us and start walking in our direction. Giving a bat a poncho is just A+ character design, a poncho and a scarf. It's like how, at some of the conventions I've been to, there's a bat fursuiter that, as far as I can tell, just has a head, but they look like they're full suiting, because they have like a particular like black coat with a fuzzy collar. And so the fuzzy collar gives you like Micah from Echo vibes, where it looks like it's an extension of the head of the suit. And then there's like a specific sort of vibe that comes from the black coat with the hands in the pockets look, that it looks like they have black wings and have them folded around their body. So it gives off a lot of like vampire / bat vibes. And here in updated for Norway, we have the poncho that gives a similar wing vibe. Oh, that's Jorgen. Jorgen, come over here. We're already eating. Huh. So that's the roommate he was talking about. He seems like an artsy type, not someone who I'd normally associate with Lake. Jorgen joins us in silence, sitting down and pouring himself some juice from a pitcher. I'm choking on that name a little bit because I don't know exactly how to pronounce the letter. So I'm going to Jorgen, the German name. with the umlauted U, which is a different letter entirely. Try some stew. It's really good. Wait, I'll just put some on your plate too. Lake does as he says, while Jorgen is sipping on his juice. What a weird pair. Two complete opposites. An extroverted volcano of energy and a stoic introvert. That's just how friend groups group. Finished everything you had to? I wouldn't be here otherwise, would I? Hi, I'm Arvo. You're a friend of Lake, yeah? I think you could say that, yes. Good meeting you then. Likewise. His expression definitely doesn't say so. Well, I tried. I start stuffing myself with stew and tune into the other conversation happening at our table. Traditional lunch in Norway is much, much more modest, but it's nice to have something like this from time to time. What do you normally eat for lunch then? Usually we just have 2 or 3 open sandwiches with hummus or something else, but it's always a pain. It's always plain. 2 or 3 sandwiches for lunch? Damn! Who has more than one sandwich? I don't know Rune, and he doesn't know me, but if I ever want to even talk with him, this is the best chance I have. On the other paw, I was already discussing something with Lake. I hope he won't mind. Blech. Well, Lake's friend just sat down. They're doing something. Sorry. Why did you make a tradition out of eating something plain? Rune turns towards me, looking somewhat surprised by the sudden intrusion into their conversation. It's fast, it's convenient. Eating lunch at work, for us, is almost mechanical. It's not something you look forward to, it's an occasion for a quick break, and some sustenance for the afternoon, before coming back home. We call it Mat Pack. But that's just a theory. I'm so sorry. Which simply means packed lunch. So, I take it you're not so I haven't recovered yet. I haven't recovered. I take it that you're not from around here. I don't think we've met yet. No, I'm Arvo, a freshman here. I moved here from Finland to study cognitive science. I glance at Coach. He acknowledges my presence, nodding, and I mutter a quiet, awkward, hello, Professor. A pleasure to meet you. I'm Rune. I study neuroscience. His smile is confident and seems genuine. Like, he really is happy to meet me, not just saying it out of courtesy. I haven't heard him talk before today. I always imagine him having a husky voice, but it's actually rather smooth, deep, and resonant. Did I do it? Did I do one right? I would like to take a better look at him, but his gaze is piercing right through me. Besides, his lively eyes are mesmerizing. I can just sit and stare at them instead, and still be happy. How do you like it here? Oh, it's not that different. Norway's beautiful, of course, but with all the mountains and fjords, but our way of living is fairly similar. Our languages have nothing in common, though. It'll take me much more than these 4 months I've been living here to be able to hold conversation in Norwegian. The fact we can't even agree on one national standard doesn't make it any easier, I imagine. That was confusing at first, yeah, to learn that you don't speak just one language. Back in Finland, I was living in a small town, and here I am living in a big city. That makes the biggest difference. I had trouble sleeping for the first few nights. It's much brighter and louder at night than it was back home. And of course, I miss having a sauna in the building where I live. Wait, you had a sauna in the same building? Yeah, it's pretty standard in Finland. Most people have a sauna in the same building they live in, be it a house or an apartment building. Oh, wow. I like saunas. That is pretty crazy. Nah, what is crazy is that I have to take a bus to go to a sauna. Well, it'd be pretty convenient to have one within walking distance. A nice, relaxing sauna after a workout would be great. I know that there's one here, so if you want to hit the sauna with me, just say so. He winks at me. I laugh nervously, blushing. I think my heart just skipped a beat. Meanwhile, Coach finished eating and stood up, grunting to get everyone's attention. Damn, he went fast. Attention, everyone. I have a few important things to say. The cafeteria goes silent in an instant. Everyone turns in Coach's direction, who is standing next to his seat. Welcome to the first day of our winter science camp. Ahead of us is a week full of activities, lectures, and practical classes, and some leisure time as well. For now, we'll let you rest. After lunch, you're free to do whatever you please. Today is for integration and fun. Devin takes a note out of his pocket and starts reading from it. Dinner is at 1600 here in the cafeteria. This evening, if the weather allows, those who signed up for it will be observing stars from the terrace. All the guest house's facilities are at your disposal. This includes a swimming pool, a sauna, and a common space with a snooker table. Ah, yes. Rune was right then. A small win for me. Please remember that today we're meeting at the entrance at 7:45 for a trip to town. Don't be late. Breakfast is served at 700. Devin folds the paper back and hides it in his pocket, looking around the room at all the students. There's the raccoon! A tiny raccoon. That looks a lot like Toaster, but not entirely. Does Toaster has green eyes, doesn't he? Hang on a second. I know how to fix this. Bloop. Do. Yep, Toaster has green eyes. I think. Probably. That looks like green eyes. Gotta go past all the safer work versions. Gotta find the safer work version. Like, hey there, that's a familiar face almost. Anyway, this was dumb. You're all adults. You're all adults, so you're free to leave the guest house. Just please, don't do anything stupid. It'll be us teachers who have to handle that. If you need anything, you can find me in room number 2. In case there's an emergency, I am your first person to contact. I see that most of you have finished already. That's all for now. You're free to go. Coach sits down again, turning towards Rune. I'm gonna hit the pool soon, but I need some rest first. After that lunch. Okay. I'll join you there in a while. What is it between these two? Leaving the speculations for later, I get up, having finished my food. Okay. Lake, see you in a while. Sure. Take care. Be seeing you, Arvo. I smile at him and nod. Be seeing you, Rune. I grab a sunshine bun from the plate and take a bite, holding it through the paper. It's so good. I let out a pleasured sigh. Giving Lake a pat on the shoulder, I start walking out of the cafeteria and towards my room. I don't think you were really described as eating, so I feel like I don't know if they did. Anyway, that's probably where we're going to stop it for today. That's our little introduction. If you'd like to check out Dawn Chorus, you can find it via the link in the description. Also, just as a reminder, I've covered like, I don't know, dozens of these at this point. So if you check out the playlist for the Let's Tries in the description, you can go back through all the other ones that you probably missed over the years. Because I used to do Let's Tries relatively, like pretty frequently, just across all of gaming. But I kind of got tired of checking my emails and going through all those random indie games all the time. And also, at some point I was like, I've covered like 600 of these, or 700 of these, or 800 of these. I don't even know. So I kind of fell off that. And instead, sometime around 2 years ago, I was just like, let's just do all these furry games. And then that's kind of just all I've done since. So there's plenty of backlog. So if you're looking for games to check out, because sometimes people say stuff like, there's not enough of this type of furry visual novel as opposed to that type of furry visual novel, but like their only exposure is the most popular visual novels that exist. So it's mostly just like, it often feels like people are just saying like Echo Project should do something else besides what they currently do because I want this type of novel to exist. I'm like, the novel probably exists. It's just hard to get all the names and faces out there. So maybe check out that playlist if you're looking for more, because there are actually so fucking many. Anyway, guys, I'll see you next time.